Now, there's been a few property management industry disruptors around in recent years. Some have succeeded and many haven't, mainly because what they have to offer is either cheap fees, poor service, or software that just doesn't work. But very few have taken on the industry and taken a shot for change based on the simple lifestyle and values many property managers want to live and do business by. Until Homely. Welcome to the Property Management Podcast. I'm your host, Kylie Walker, aka That Property Mum. Now, can I ask you a quick favour before we dive in to today's epic episode? We all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate and review this podcast, it would mean the world to me. In fact, what would actually get me really super excited is if you could actually take a screenshot and share it on your social stories and tag me in it. Now, this year has been all about building new connections, and I'd love you to be part of mine. Now, the property management industry has had its disruptors. There's been a few, and some of them have stood the test of time, like the cloud-based software systems, for example. Others, like virtual property management agencies, haven't. And I'm not knocking anyone here because I think change is amazing. It's great. It's how we all grow and evolve. And the digital world has opened up so many more opportunities for building businesses. And sometimes it's actually hard to keep up with all the new things. Now, before I move on to today's episode, I want to let you know that I've been doing some research on all the latest and greatest tech innovations and software for the property management industry. And I've put it all together with the pros and cons of each in a handy downloadable for you. So if you want to know the most user-friendly property management software, the database with the best prospecting functions, or simply the latest prop tech release, there is a link in the show notes for you to download it. Today's guest is Amanda Wiapo. She is a single mum from New Zealand who overcame her fears and courageously dove in and became a partner in an independent real estate startup. She found herself newly single when she was just 7 months pregnant with her youngest child. But despite her personal world falling apart, she took a brave leap and stepped up her professional life. Now, with a love of everything systems and processes, Amanda has taken her skill set and combined forces with her business partner to forge one of the fastest growing property management brands in their region. But Homely is determined to be more than just another property management business. They have lofty plans to disrupt how traditional businesses are run. But it's not based on fancy tech or budget fees. It's based on a holistic approach to property management, where effort, values, and lifestyle reign supreme, where property managers are rewarded for building their own portfolios, growing their own businesses, and achieving their own financial freedom without the stress, guilt, and burnout. According to Amanda, if she can build her own business as a single mum of 3, you can too. So take a listen to her inspirational journey. Thank you for joining me on the Property Management Podcast, Amanda. Now, before we get started, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started in property management?
Absolutely. So I am 35 years old. I'm a mum of 3 gorgeous children. And I started in property and property management back in 2012. Purely because I was looking for something that was going to give me a career path and a career opportunity. And I started that and have been in love with it ever since.
And very excitingly, you're now partners in a brand new startup property management business in New Zealand. So tell me a little bit about that journey, how you went from working in property management to now being a co-owner of a new brand.
Yeah, it's all exciting. So Homely Property Management is the company. And I guess how I went from it was having, 10 years in the industry and learning as I went and adapting as I went around, what it is that a good property management company should be providing. And taking all those learnings as we go and creating something that would benefit a lot of people, I guess. So over the years, I've always had, as I've mentioned, this weird little hobby of creating documents and processes and bits and pieces just in my spare time around property management, because it's something that I have a passion for. And I just thought, one day I might be able to use this and do my own thing if I ever need to. And that day kind of came around, which was, really exciting, and got to be a part of Homely and bring that information and all my little weird hobbies to the table and, get going with Homely. So, really exciting.
And you mentioned also that you are a mum of 3 kids, but you're also a single mum of 3 beautiful kids. And your youngest is 9 months old, did you say?
Yes, 9 months old. She just turned 9 months last week.
And so how do you juggle all that? How do you juggle starting a new business and managing a household on your own?
Well, I have a great relationship still with my my ex-husband, so he does help out quite a bit. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, he deals with the children, so I can look after myself, do all my appointments, and anything that I can make sure, I can schedule for those days, like inspections, meeting up with tenants for other reasons, visiting properties if they've got work happening at them with contractors, anything I can do really to get out there and meet people. Networking groups, I do those on a Tuesday, and just really making sure I've got some good time management in play. I always make sure I keep my Wednesdays free, because if I don't do my house stuff on a Wednesday in the middle of the week, by the weekend it's just insane. So I've got my Wednesday and I've got Saturday or Sunday to do housework and to catch up with washing and all those bits and pieces. So really it's just all about balance. And as I mentioned earlier to you, a Tuesday and a Thursday morning, I start my day at the gym. It gets my mind clear, it gets me pumping for the day, and it's something that's for me that helps me be a better property manager for my clients.
Absolutely. I think it makes you a better mother as well. When you're filling up your own bucket, and I think, it's amazing what you're doing and what a lot of mums are doing. I think us for being role models for our children as well, showing them the way that, that we have to work hard, that, that the old saying, money doesn't grow on trees, or, that you don't get anything for nothing in life. And, making them part of your integrating them, I think is probably the word I'm looking for, integrating your family into your working life as well, rather than, I think, balancing it out. I think, So that's kind of what you work on. You've kind of integrated your kids, taken them to inspections. I know I've taken my kids, have sat in cars and on iPads while I've done viewings and inspections.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, as I said, I do try to do everything on a Tuesday and Thursday, but, property management, it doesn't always work that way, especially when someone's needing an appraisal or some type of urgent situation has come up. So, if my kids aren't at school, then they're with me, and they know that, mum needs 20 minutes to go do an appraisal, and they just sit in the car and, entertain one another. My oldest is 14, so looks after the 9-month-old, really well. She's babysitting age now, which is perfect. So that gives me the opportunity to still do those things that I need to do. And it does. It teaches your kids, I guess, what hard work is, and they benefit from me doing those appointments. It's a learning for everyone. I'm not in it on my own. My family is my support network, and my kids are well aware of that. That if mum needs to work, and I'm doing it for them, so I can give them that better future.
I think that's amazing. I think you're doing an amazing job, and a great inspiration to any women or working mums that are listening right now who and maybe that's what you could share with us next, is some advice if somebody is listening, feeling like they really want to go out on their own and start their own business, but they're fearful. They've got, the kids, they've got the responsibility, the financial responsibility, they've got limitations around their time. Can you maybe share some of the benefits for you personally that you've experienced since going out on your own?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've probably never been able to really, without feeling guilty, shoot up and get my kids from school, pop down and watch them do a sporting event that they've got at school, like their cross country or athletic. To be able to have that freedom and to be able to work around my own hours has just been totally different. When you've worked in the industry for 10 years and you've never done it this way, it's so freeing, and it's just really changed my well-being. I'm actually really happy in what I do, and it's actually made my job a real passion for me now, because I'm really enjoying what I do. And I think if you don't feel that way with property management and being able to have that balance and that well-being, you probably need a change. And just go out and do it. I mean, it is scary financially as well if you are a single mum. But I mean, get yourself a part-time job and go from there. Work out what it is that you need on a minimum to support your family and get that, whether it be working at a cafe or doing some night shift or, something to be able to earn that income. So then you can gradually work away at your business and get to a point where you can then let go of that job and focus purely on the business to build. And it's really achievable. It's really achievable. And you'll be surprised how many people that you've met in the past that will see you go out in business and start just gravitating towards you as well.
I think that is really valuable advice there. If you want anything in life, there is always a way to get it. You've just got to work out. It might not be a smooth path, a one direction. You might have to, go off on different paths and different tracks to get to your destination. But I think the important thing is being clear on that destination where you want to get to. Now, the industry's changed so much, and I'm sure in New Zealand it's changed so much since COVID. And, the people are able to be more flexible with their working from home and lots of different things around that. But you guys at Homely are coming up with a bit of an innovative way to do property management as your bigger picture plan. Do you want to share a little bit about that? What's in the pipeline?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess one of the reasons I actually wanted to do Homely as well was to shake things up a little bit. I think the industry in New Zealand needed some change. I mean, we're only small at the moment, but we have big plans to grow. So one of the concepts that we've come up with is that anyone who comes to work for us are not just property managers, but they're independent property managers. What that means, very similar to the same setup as a sales agent. They have, the branding and everything that we've created over this time, the inquiry that we're now getting through our website, all that kind of stuff, they have that to come to and to help them build portfolio that's going to work for them. Another thing actually with our setup is that we will only ever manage 80 properties. That's it. That's all you need to do when you're an independent property manager, and be able to have that flexibility and well-being. So with saying that, that's one of the big things about being an independent property manager is that you are independent. You work for yourself in regards to who you want to bring on as clients, the types of properties you want to manage, all of that stuff, but you have all the support, the software, the documentation, everything you need around you that Homely will provide. Anything that is going to, bring people into something new. So being able to, actually learn from things that we've been through recently, like COVID, and working from home and being able to be self-driven and all that kind of stuff, and giving the people the opportunity to now do that without COVID around, even though, it's still around, but we're not in lockdowns. It just has that ability for people to be able to balance their life better, pick their kids up from school, spend more time on their well-being so that they can be better at their jobs.
I think I love that. I think that's a very innovative and a great way. Certainly it's nothing I have seen like that in Australia. I think I have seen something similar where they've brought on sales agents who have kept a percentage of the managements that they bring into the business, so that when the agency goes to sell them, they might keep, 50% of the profits. But that's brilliant. Like property managers coming in, growing their own portfolios with all the support around them, with the lead generation or most of the lead generation taken care of for them. And they get to build that financial freedom, as well as, working on their own terms and in their own time.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said earlier, I mean, what we're offering is the ability to manage probably less than what a lot of property managers out there manage for a higher income in the end of the day by being an independent property manager. But you have to do the work to get there, which is what we're hoping will make property managers, I guess, more invested in what they do. Which means they're most likely to stay around for longer, and we'll stop that cycle of the 2-year turnabout of property managers, because, burnout's a real thing, and it happens, and owners are left with a new property manager every year to 2 years at the moment. So all about, keeping that burnout low, and people on long term.
I actually feel it really makes me sad when I hear of so much about how miserable people are in property management and how unhappy they are. It actually really makes me feel really sad that, we spend so much time in our workplaces that we should be going to work and feeling inspired and, loving our jobs and, wanting to be there. Not, I couldn't, I don't know about you, I couldn't imagine being there, going back there now. And I guess for you, you've made that shift. Could you ever imagine going back?
No, absolutely not. And I know people that are still in it. And I honestly, I make a point of contacting them all the time and just checking in, because I know a lot of them, like from being in the industry, you don't always get those check-ins from the people around you at work, whether it be management or just other team members, just saying like, hey, how are you going? How are things for you? And just by asking someone that can really change their day, and it can really make them more happy in their job. And when we're ready to put it out there to bring on these independent property managers, I guess it's going to be something that they might actually be, drawn towards, because I'm telling them how my day is at the moment as well. And my day, and compared to their day, is totally different. It's like we're not even in the same industry. The work that I do and the work that they do doesn't even compare anymore.
That's brilliant. Now, I know you've been through a journey, like a lot of us. We all go through our ups and downs. But I love personal development, and I just was wondering if you could share one of your best personal development tools with our listeners, whether that's a podcast, a book, a training course, anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't do any of that. I do listen to your podcast, and I quite often listen to it when I'm at the gym in the mornings on the Tuesday and the Thursday. And I also listen to a lot of just like random self-confidence podcasts, really whatever I'm feeling that day that might just need to, pick me up a bit. But the one thing that I do is that, this probably sounds terrible, but I like to compare what I'm doing to other people. And by doing that, I just follow a lot of different companies and a lot of different industries on social media. And when I see what they're doing, it kind of influences me to do the same, but better. Like, that's awesome. They've, implemented this, but how can I take that idea and make it bigger? So just by following and reaching out to a lot of different industries and a lot of different property management companies, not just within the region, but, within New Zealand, that's what drives me. So that's where I get all my ideas and my passion from, I think.
I think a lot of people are very similar to that.
Yeah.
That, there is, and even the biggest people in a lot of industries, they've started by learning from somebody else. So I think that's very valuable personal development or growth advice there. Now, how can our audience connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I like to do quite a bit on there. So Amanda Wiapo, Wiapo. Weird last name, I know, hard to pronounce. And just on my email or through our website. Happy to connect with anybody at any time. Be good.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate your time and having this conversation with me.
That's all right. Thank you so much, Kylie.
I know your time is valuable, so thank you for spending it here. Now, if you're someone who is serious about growing your property management business and you'd like to learn the systems that I've put in place inside my own business that consistently brings in new management leads every single week without me having to do anything, then go to the show notes and take a look at the options for working further with me. Whether that's an online course, one-on-one coaching, or free resources on my website. Until next time, my friend.